Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update, your daily source for everything cryptocurrency-related trading, markets, information, and alpha. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hopefully, you guys are doing absolutely fantastic today, wherever you happen to be tuning in from and however you happen to be watching the show, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Trovo, Facebook Live, I think they call it Meta Live now, or you can actually watch us on Twitter. Of course, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe for daily updates, smash the like button, and let me know how you guys are doing in the chat. Today is Monday, April 18th, 2022. As we round the halfway mark of April, how are your guys' portfolios doing? Are your trading accounts growing? Are your trading accounts getting smaller? The entire goal of this game is to grow your trading account so that we can all make it. So let me know how you guys are doing on your journey to find financial freedom through the cryptocurrency markets. All right. So we're going to have an interesting show today. We're going to be looking for weekly trade setups. We're going to have a breakdown of what happened over the weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about the two hottest airdrops coming up this year in cryptocurrency so far. And we'll talk about my thoughts on how you're likely going to be able to qualify for those airdrops. So we'll get into that here later on in the show after we break down the technical analysis. Then we'll switch down to the daily charts and actually see how our trades are going, if we have any trade setups that we're looking for. And if we have time, we will take a look at your chart requests and answer questions as they may come about. So let's go. Let's get pumped. Shout outs to everybody in the stream, and let's get right into the live scene. Oh, by the way, happy Easter to everybody who enjoyed the weekend fun. You know what I'm saying? For myself, just a simple Easter egg hunt with my daughter, a little kite flying out in the pasture, and things are all well. We did attempt to go to an community Easter egg hunt, right? I avoided, not that I have anything against religion, but I avoided going to kind of community ones at churches and all that kind of stuff. But we went to a secular one, and this was more like an Easter egg. So the way that you typically do Easter egg hunts, right? I consider myself a little bit of an expert, is that you hide the eggs, right? Like you get the eggs, you put the money or the candy inside or the toy, whatever, for the kids, and then you go hide them and the kids go find them, which is a process, and everybody laughs and has a good time. What you generally don't want to do is get a bunch of kids and then like a gang of kids, and then you just throw out a ton of eggs onto a field. Like that's not an Easter egg hunt. That is an Easter egg battle royale. Okay. So instead of like helping my daughter look for Easter eggs, I'm out there like duck and move, kick knees, let's go. So just a thought out there to perhaps the organizers of community Easter egg events moving forward. But anyways, the holidays are over, moving on into the week. Let's see if we can make some money this week in the crypto markets. To start off, we're going to go to the weekly time frame and analyze Bitcoin to see what the overall market's going to do. Obviously, the cryptocurrency markets are highly correlated, so we can get a good idea of what our large cap altcoins are going to do by analyzing Bitcoin's movements. All right, so let's get right into that and get into the charts. Okay, here we are in the live scene. We do have the daily pulled up, but we're going to go to the weekly. All right, we're going to do something a little different today as well. We're going to be using the 200 period exponential moving average as our baseline here today. And we're going to see over the next month or so how that's going to stack up against the Hall 60 moving average or against the Donchian 26. Obviously, for those who've been following us for a while, we previously primarily used the Hall 60 as our daily baseline. We are going to be attempting the 200 exponential moving average, which means that our strategy and our trade entries are going to be a little different. But we're going to get a month of, I'm going to be trading this way for an entire month. So I'm going to actually finish out the month of April. So I'm going to do half the month of April. Excuse me, I'm going to finish out the month of May. I'm going to do half the month of April. And regardless of my results, I'm going to continue on with that daily baseline and moving into May as well and finish out the month of May. So I'm going to be recording my statistics. Obviously, if you're premium members, you have access to all of my trades. And I'm going to be analyzing the difference in that baseline with my same strategy, with my same indicator set, and seeing what results I get. So if you guys are into that, definitely stay tuned. But here we are on the weekly time frame. As we can see, with regards to the 200 exponential moving average, we do see Bitcoin for the third consecutive week trading below the 200 weekly EMA. Now, for those of you who have been following the channel for a while, we are kind of following this pattern with Bitcoin's correction. We are on the Bybit chart, so let's actually go to the Bitstamp chart, which we want to do here. On the weekly time frame, we can see that we are following this pattern of corrections from Bitcoin's behavior, where after we reach a cycle high, we correct down to the 55 weekly EMA, bounce, correct down to the 100 weekly EMA, bounce, and then ultimately find our true value area at the weekly 200 simple moving average. The 200 simple moving average has been so powerful, in fact, that Bitcoin has never been able to trade below it significantly, except for on weekly wicking basis, right? So we've only had one weekly close below the 200 SMA. But that has always been the value area, stretching all the way back to 2015. So this is going to be 7 years where Bitcoin has not traded below the 200 weekly simple moving average. And every time Bitcoin does reach down to the 200 weekly simple moving average, you want to back the truck up because a bull run ensues. Now, that often occurs at the end of a bear market, and then a period of accumulation typically ensues. We can see the best example of that in 2015 when we bottomed at the 200, what would be eventually the 200 SMA. And then we consolidated for a little bit, some accumulation, and then a beautiful bull run that lasted 2 years ensued. We can see down here, following the peak in 2017, we correct down to the 200 weekly SMA, accumulate for a while, and a beautiful bull run ensues. A slight bear market then followed. We have not really too much accumulation, just kind of a big market meltdown. This was the March meltdown when BitMEX went BitMEX went absolutely crazy, and the auto liquidation engine just basically tanked the entire market. But after that, a beautiful bull run ensued, and we've had a correction down to the 55 already, a bounce, and a correction down to the 100 exponential moving average. Now, I will say that if we consolidate here and put in another beautiful bull run, I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. Do I think that's going to happen? Not really, not too much, not right now. I do think that's much more likely that eventually we make our way down here before we ensue the next bull run. There's just, we had a lot of hype this cycle. You can see this large kind of distribution area right here. And Bitcoin just likes to do what it does, right? Bitcoin just likes to do what it does, guys. So while I want to be an absolute Bitcoin bull here, and while I do want to call for new all-time highs, and I do think that it is possible, especially if we form this higher low here on the weekly. If we do form this higher low, then we have a much better chance of moving up here to $59,000 before we ultimately correct back down to the 200 weekly SMA. But if we don't, if we really don't establish this higher low, or if we establish the higher low, right, as you can see, we've formed a low, a higher low, and this would be another higher low, which would be a good sign to see. But if we don't establish this higher low, if we do establish this higher low, and then we reject again from resistance, if we're not able to make it up above this area, this green box that I've drawn here as resistance, then again, I think we're going to be on a pretty fast track to the 200. And now May is coming up. Now, obviously, there is this idea. Wow. Okay, we've got some Facebook spam. Interesting. Anyways, moving on. I lost my train of thought. We get one spam comment. I lost my train of thought. Okay, let's just cycle back. If that happens, if we form the higher low, move up and reject from the green box area, then that is going to be a swing failure pattern playing out on the weekly time frame, and moving down here. Oh, May is coming up. So sell in May and walk away is kind of this idea for this is a pretty popular concept in the traditional markets as well. And I wanted to kind of see here how Bitcoin tends to respond to price action in May. So let's go back last year to May. Obviously, it was a good time to sell and walk away. All right, so May of 2021, we had that correction down. Now let's go to May of the preceding year. May of 2020 would not have been a great time to sell. In fact, the market did move sideways for a while. So as a trend following trader, this is perfect. This is totally an okay area to sell. And then you attempt to get back into the trend. Maybe you have a small win or a small loss in this area right here, because the market moves up for about a month and then pulls back down, moves sideways. But in this area right here, there's definitely, as a trend following trader, plenty of opportunity for an entry, either on the absolute initiation and breakout and the continuation of the original trend, or on one of these pullbacks, right? Maybe on this pullback right here. God forbid, maybe even on this pullback right here, we had a little bit of profit opportunity. But hopefully, again, as a trend following trader, you're being studious and watching the charts. Continuing on with our analysis of, is May a good time to sell? 2019, not a fantastic, I mean, obviously a good time to sell if you were coming off of this area of the market right here, but May of 2019, there was still a bit of juice. There was still about another month left in the market. And then following that, about 2 months of actual distribution where you could have taken your profits off of your position before we ended up breaking down. So, so far, not very helpful. May of 2018 would have been a good time to sell as well, of course, but we were in an overall downtrend. So what I'm kind of seeing here so far, and we'll go back a little bit farther, obviously May of 2017, terrible time to sell. May of 2016, terrible time to sell. May of 2015, terrible time to sell. But here's the thing. I think what I'm seeing here in the charts is that it's not so much, it has nothing to do with May, is what I'm seeing. Thank you, XRP. Appreciate that. It does seem to me that from a casual glance, from a casual observation, that May doesn't have any direct correlation to a directional bias. It's not that as if May occurs, the cryptocurrency markets or Bitcoin particularly is necessarily going to go down. It seems that price continues to move in the direction that it was previously moving, i.e., in this example right here where we can see it's May, we can see that we've already been in a long downtrend, and then we have that bounce, we have that basically ending at the weekly 200 SMA. So the fact that May rolls around while price is at the 200 weekly SMA level of support is indicative of a terrible time to sell because price is at support. So we can just completely extract that idea of May has anything to do with the cryptocurrency markets and just inject the fact of where we are in the overall cycle and where we are in the charts. And as we can see, selling at support is typically not a good idea. Buying at support is generally the better concept. Again, moving back to May of 2016, as we can see, the market was already in an uptrend right here. The market had already broken down from that level of support, was pushing its way up, was moving in consolidation. So because the market was not trending downwards, selling in May of 2016 was not a good idea because we were trending up. Okay. Same thing, May of 2017, we were trending stronger than we've ever trended before. Terrible time to sell. Now, May of 2018 was a good time to sell because we had already just reached a new all-time high, and we had already corrected from that, right? So we were already on our way down. So May of 2018 was a good time to sell, but only because we were already moving down already. May of 2019, again, we had reached that 200 weekly SMA level of support, and it started to push up. So May of 2019, excuse me, not a good time to sell because we were already trending up. May of 2020, not a good time to sell because we had already reached weekly SMA support. We had already reached the lows and we were on our way back up. May of 2021, not a bad time to sell. Why? Because we had just reached a new all-time high. The market was not moving any higher. We had seen the market had started to consolidate and move sideways here for quite a while. And actually, May led to this large sell down. And now here we are a year later in 2022. And the market has been trending to the downside, guys. We have not, here's the difference. We haven't had that spike down to the weekly 200 SMA. So we're not bottomed and on the way up. It seems as if we've topped and are on the way down. So May of 2022 may actually be, as the saying says, a good time to sell in May and walk away, and then pick back up in September and, I don't know, gain forever. Let's go with something like that, right? Buy in September, gains forever, right? Put that on t-shirt. Buy in September, gains forever. Okay. Anyways, so now let's look at the indicators here, and I just want to get a bigger idea of where we are with BTC. Now, Minx is doing something that it hasn't done in quite a while, and it will not confirm until this weekly close, which is that on these corrections, right? So Minx has not done this since 2018. All right. And what I mean by that is that Minx as an oscillator is in the negative territory. So already giving primary short signal. So when Minx as an oscillator crosses from above the zero line here and is green, it's indicating that you should generally be going long and looking for long trades, and the market is bullish. And when it crosses below, it indicates that the market is bearish and you should not be looking for longs. You should be trading to the short side. Now, as we can see, if we zoom in here on Minx, we can see it does something. So it crosses underneath the zero line. It crosses up into this white area, which is what I call the static zone. Okay, this is kind of a no trade zone. and it crosses back down beneath. Now this, for PTP traders in our group, this is called a continuation trade. This is letting you know that, hey, the market was bearish, it crossed up into this no trade zone, and then it crossed back down, letting you know that not only is the market bearish, but it's going to start continuing to trend downwards. That's what this indicator is attempting to predict. And it does. The market does trend downwards, and it does it several more times throughout this area, and we can just see the market trends down and down and down. Now, over here, as we can see if we zoom in, this does not occur in 2019. This does not occur in 2020. As we can see, just Minx crosses underneath. And once it crosses back up, actually it does it one time right here. I apologize. And then it crosses back up. And let's see what happened actually when that happened. So I want to see. Okay, that occurred right here. That's when that cross under occurred. And it led to a 20%, 18.72% down candle the next week, right? 18.72% down candle the next week. Over here in 2020, we do cross below the zero line, but we do not cross back up and then cross back under. So that doesn't occur. And it did not occur over here on the big correction in May of last year. So the summer of last year. So it crosses down, crosses back up, letting you know that, hey, bull market's on. So here we've crossed back under, crossed back up, right? Which might have been considered by some to be a very bullish sign. And now it's crossing back underneath. Now, it is, of course, entirely possible that we whipsaw around this area. That is something that absolutely can happen. But just the fact that we have not done this, that every time before this has happened, has been met with continued downside, particularly back over here in 2018, which 2018 to me is very similar to 2020. Right, where in 20 we had this massive bull run in 2017 leading up to 2018, we reached an all-time high, and then the market went through this long protracted bear market of moving to the downside. And very similar over here, 2020, 2019 through 2020 and 2021, we had this beautiful massive bull run. Now we've double topped. The market is moving down. The market is moving lower. And here we have Minx on the weekly time frame confirming that with this cross under. So what Minx is predicting here is that we are going to see further downside, right? So we are not going to be bouncing. Minx is suggesting that we are not going to be experiencing a higher low here, and that even if perhaps we do experience a higher low, we will continue to the downside. Now, time transformation, which is a faster momentum oscillator that we utilize, is doing something similar, right? We can see that time transformation bottomed out here in the oversold territory, giving us a good buying opportunity on BTC right over in this area. And of course, we actually did take that trade. So we do have our continued long entries at around $38,000 still on BTC. We still have that weekly long position. We took some profits around 42. Time transformation itself is crossing under. Now, time transformation is a little less accurate with these crosses than with Minx, because Minx, the way that I have it set, so is with a static filter of 21 for those of you guys who are following along at home. So it's giving much smoother signals. It's slower. That's good. We want it to be slower. And so, yeah, so essentially all I'm trying to suggest here, guys, is that Minx is suggesting that we do head lower. Time transformation seems to be confirming that. Parallax down here has never recovered from bearish territory. It went bearish back over here on the week of the 29th of November and has stayed underneath. So Minx is suggesting that we do continue lower here on the weekly time frame. And certainly something that you could confirm that with via price action is losing that 100 period. Losing the 100 exponential moving average level of support right here. As you can see, we have not traded below it. We've wicked below it on a weekly closing basis, but a weekly close below the 100 EMA to me would be very negative and would be the first, well, actually the first sign we're already getting because it's the indicators, but would be one of the first signs down to the 200 weekly SMA. Okay. So that's what we're suggesting here on the weekly time frame is continued downside. All right. Continue also as well. We have not had this big rise up in volume that we would like to see at market bottoms, guys. So just going back in time, we can see a big explosion of volume around bottoms, right? And a big explosion of volume into trend initiation. So just going back here, look at this explosion of volume when Bitcoin actually bottoms out back here in 2019. No, December and then the end of January 2019. Look at this big explosion of volume. We have falling volume all the way throughout the bear market. And then this big explosion of volume kind of signifying the bottom, right? And compare that to what we have now, right? Bitcoin has reached a new all-time high. We've had this continuing falling and receding volume, right? There's just, guys, there's just nothing here that suggests that we're actually bottomed out, unfortunately, right? So typically you want to see a big explosion of volume. That's going to be your first sign because volume is a leading indicator. Yeah. Okay. Weekly synopsis on Bitcoin is relatively negative. The only thing that could be good here, right? And I say this is that so far it does appear as if we are forming a higher low. Okay. Now, and we've got this nice wick to the downside. So wicks often occur at bottoms, right? So we can see wicks, right? And not furthermore than that, this would be, if this continues to push up here, then this would be considered a hammer doji. All right. Hammer dojis. This is a pretty good example of one right here. A nice hammer doji. This is just kind of a regular indecision doji. Go back and see. So we've got this is a beautiful hammer doji right here. Right. And although the market did move down for another month, was pretty accurate at predicting the bottom here. And price moved up. And then we actually got a buy signal from our time transformation indicator on this candle right here. So that could be good. Again, the possibility, it does still, of course, remain for a higher low and a break of this resistance up to 52.59. Okay, 52.59. Form the swing failure pattern where we're unable to make a higher low, a higher high. We make a lower high relative to our previous all-time high now. And then we reject and move down from there. So that is, of course, on the table. So I would like to see this play out. If you are speculative here, of course, the option does, remember, this signal from Minx is not going to confirm until the end of the week. So if you're conservative here, what we can do is we can simply wait until the weekend close. All right, wait until the weekly candle closes. And if price continues to drift down, or God forbid, lose the 100 weekly exponential moving average, then you could position into that long-term short down here to the 200 weekly SMA. Okay. Prior to that, I suppose what you could do as well is you could take this speculative bet that we hammer doji and move up to 52.59. So let's look at a trade setup like that. So let's say we do want to trade to the upside here. I would do about a 2% risk trade with your stop loss down here around 31,644 and be targeting that 45, 51, and 56 to the upside. Looking for that push, looking for that 51, 59, looking for this area of interest right here. And that's totally fine as well. And then if that movement actually occurs, then looking to either hedge or take that short position up here on that rejection, or again, just waiting for kind of a regular signal from your trading system right here. But so far, just looking at the indicators, bearish, right? We're below the 200. We're below the 200 daily exponential moving average. Okay. We are below all our major moving averages on the weekly time frame, save the 100 and save the 200, right? So losing that level, losing that 100 weekly EMA, very negative. And then we're going to be looking for that 200 weekly SMA as a back the truck up area. Okay. And I just have to say this, guys. I just have to say this because, some of you have obviously been through these areas of the market before, but some of you haven't. When this happens, if this happens, right, this break of the 100 EMA and this movement down, that is going to be very painful and difficult to go through if you're not properly positioned, right? If you're all in shit coins, or if your portfolio is too heavily weighted to really risky things right now. So if you're holding a lot of low caps, if you're holding a lot of mid caps in your portfolio, then when Bitcoin breaks support here and starts making its movement down for another 50% correction, you are going to get absolutely giga-wrecked, right? Giga-wrecked. I want to advise you guys that this is not the time to be looking at highly speculative, risky projects. Now, obviously, we can all agree on one thing. If you hold your portfolio entirely in Bitcoin, you're not going to become a millionaire if you're trading a small capital account. Like, Bitcoin is not going to 1000x from here. It's just not going to happen, right? You might be lucky if Bitcoin 5x's from here, okay? That's not going to make you rich. So while you do need to hold more speculative assets in your portfolio, you need to hold them at the right time. When the market is very bullish, that is when it is safer to be switching to be allocating your portfolio to riskier and more speculative assets that have much more a much higher potential for growth. Okay, when we are in a bear market, the speculative and risky assets, the low caps, the shit coins, the DeFi plays, those things are going to get absolutely smoked when Bitcoin moves down. Bitcoin might correct 50%. Those things are going to go to zero. Okay. So there's a time and a place. And I continue to say this time and this place is a place to be having a heavier allocation towards stable coins and to be holding your value in USDT, right? Now, here's the only negative thing about that concept, right? Is that if you are holding, if you're trade, so this is what I'm doing. I'm trading in USDT right now. Okay. Wayne A, good to see you, my friend. If you are holding USDT here and then price moves up, okay, you missed your chance to buy the bottom. All right. But here's the thing. You are never, ever, ever going to always buy the bottom, right? Odds are highly likely that even though I sit here and tell you all this, if price just jumps down to the 200 SMA tomorrow, you're going to be too scared to buy, right? Even though you listened, you can look back in time and see like, oh my God, this is like the greatest ever time. This is the perfect spot to buy Bitcoin, like ever in the history of ever, as if it's down here at the weekly 200 simple moving average. But very likely if Bitcoin just chunks down to the weekly 200 SMA tomorrow, you won't buy. Most of you won't. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying that people have a very hard time buying when price has already been moving down. Or conversely, sometimes people are just too aggressive buying when price goes down. This can also be a problem where you see price move down to a level of support and you just buy too aggressively. Now we bought here, right? I bought here, but it was just a position size. I think it was maybe a 5% position size right here. We've already taken some profits. Prices moved down. Now, obviously, hindsight 2020, it's great. I'm like, oh yeah, the trade worked out. It's all good, bro. Like, why didn't you trade like that? But the thing is, like, I knew, in my opinion, in my analysis, that this is not when I want to completely shift out of all my stable coins and start putting my money into low cap DeFi plays. Right? This is not the time. Right? As much research as I am doing, for example, right now, primarily into the Cosmos ecosystem, right? That's where I'm focusing, is the Cosmos ecosystem with my DeFi plays. It's just not the time or the place. Okay. It's not. And while there is, of course, always a lot of money to be made, it's the market, the DeFi market, especially right now. It's very, very dangerous. Okay. I mean, the level of the heightened amount of scams and rug pulls on a daily basis is absolutely staggering right now. And while, of course, there are alpha-centric ways to navigate those waters and continue to extract profit from the DeFi markets, it just becomes harder and harder to do. And you want to put the odds in your favor as much as possible. So if the odds are not in your favor, then it's very unwise to be employing a strategy or executing in a market that is not conducive to your strategy. Okay. Plenty of money to be made here on the blue chips, plenty of money to be made on the large cap plays. And it's also a lot safer, particularly in this area of the market, to be focusing. So again, as I said, when we really started PTP, it was during the 2018 bear market. And that was a fantastic time for a lot of our traders to grow and build their strategies out. It was a fantastic time for me to grow and build my strategy out, because then when the market came, right, when the market came back, not here in 2019 and then later on in 2020 through 2021, we were ready. We were prepared. We were making money hand over fist because we had taken this time to learn, right? And then when the market turned in our favor, I recommended altcoin portfolios that have done amazingly well, thousands of percents. So there's not a single member who's been with us since 2019 who should not be balling. So, okay. So again, I think this is a fantastic time for you to be focusing not on the risky speculative DeFi plays. Educate yourself, of course, but this is a good time for you to build your base strategy of trading the daily time frame or the weekly time frame, the higher time frames, trading the large caps, and having a heavy allocation right now into stable coins so that when the dip continues, if the dip continues, you can purchase at a much higher discount, okay? And if this is the bottom and we just start trending up from here, okay? And if we're expecting something like this to emerge from this period of consolidation, okay, then no, you missed the bottom. You had too heavy of an allocation towards stable coins, but then you just identify the trend and you jump in, okay? And you've missed a little bit of alpha, okay? But the difference between missing alpha and getting giga-wrecked is immense. The difference between missing alpha and getting giga-wrecked because you're too heavy in shit coins and risky projects when the market tanks is massive. That is a massive difference. A massive difference. Okay. Daily time frame. What do we got going on here? All right. Daily time frame below all our major moving averages. We do appear to be forming a bit of a hammer candle ourselves here on the daily time frame. Nice wick down, breaking below support, and whoop, right back up. So faked out traders hopping into those momentum shorts as price broke down below support, which is what I would have done. That would have been the play. Price remains below the 8-period exponential moving average here, the 13 to 21. We recently broke down below the 55. And of course, there's the 200 SMA that swatted us down on our previous attempt. All right. Now, as you can see, again, higher low, higher low, higher low, potentially higher low. If we do successfully form this higher low, and I would say if we're able to break the 55 here, then I would go for that play from the 55 up to the 200 and maybe even to 52, 59. All right. Where are we at? Where are we at with our indicators right here? Okay. Time transformation did signal a daily buy right over here. Daily buy right here. We've got a little bit of divergence as price has moved down and our oscillator continued to move up. Minx not quite near the oversold zone yet and hasn't crossed back up into the static filter, which could be considered a reversal buy signal, but nothing there so far. Interestingly enough, Parallax came dangerously close to the oversold territory. Parallax is very good at identifying bottoms and tops in the market. Will not identify them as frequently as time transformation, nor Minx, for example, but Parallax, another fantastic tool in your tool belt. Okay. So let's take things very simply here. Let's get the EMAs off of here and let's talk about just our two. We're using the 200 EMA baseline. All right, the 200 EMA baseline. All right, so the principles here would suggest that we are below the 200 EMA baseline. Where was our sell side signal? Our sell side signal came in right here when Minx crossed below zero. Boom! Immediately following that, you have a 6% candle to the downside, a little bit of upside here. Time transformation buy signal, potentially telling you to take a little bit more profit or maybe even exit your positions. But if you took this short right here, if you're short on this movement, you are already being told here to establish some profits, to book some profits, move your stop loss to break even, and wait for price to come up and hit your break even stop loss, boohoo, or to look for continuation of the trend. So what are we looking for here to re-short on the daily time frame? We would be looking for, I guess, time transformation now to cross back underneath the signal line and give us a continuation signal. That hasn't occurred yet. Minx hasn't even crossed back up. So Minx is still suggesting that you could, of course, still be in the short. And Parallax, of course, was kind of telling you to take profits here as well. So on the daily time frame, the case does seem to be stronger for that bounce coming out of this area. Again, sideways consolidation. We can see this attempt to push down. Okay. But that's not what happened. We did not push down. So far, we've been able to buy off that bottom. So the liquidation hunt to the downside, buy off that bottom. And it remains to be seen if we're going to continue to bounce from here. If this is going to actually lead to some upside here, or if we're just grabbed liquidation, we're going to move up here, grab liquidations, and then continue down, right? Completely possible with the way the market's not trending very strongly right now. The market's very choppy. As you can see, we're right back in this chop zone of bullshit that we've been trading in since we kind of reached the bottom back here in January. So again, high, low, high, low, high, low, just chop, 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 chop. Nice thing about the daily time frame is there have been good reversal trades, good reversion to the mean trades in this area so far. But this was our first. Basically, let's kind of analyze how we could have taken these trades via PTP. Okay, so let's talk. So in this area of the market, the most successful strategy has been using reversal baseline bounces. Or reversals in the direction of the trend. Okay, so period of consolidation, reaching that weekly 100 level EMA of support. We can see that the 200 EMA has been acting as resistance. All right, so time transformation buy signal leading up to resistance, time transformation sell signal, very good trade, suggesting to take price to the downside. A little bit of regular bearish divergence that you would have got here on this candle. And interestingly enough, let's look at time transformation. Time transformation crosses below zero right here. So even though you have a little bit of drawdown, again, price moves in your favor. We have this nice cross up right here, suggesting. But if we're trading the direction of the trend, then we would only be looking and focusing on the shorts. All right, so Here's the last breakdown of the 200 EMA. So we're looking for a primary short signal, okay, that occurs right here on this candle, or here with Minx actually. So here's suggesting the short. Time transformation buy signal, take some profits. If we're looking for a continuation trade, we do get that right here on this candle. So we short again, take some profits. Price moves up. Okay. Get a time transformation sell signal. You could take the reversal sell signal right here. You could also take the regular divergence, which you would have got on this candle. The sell signal would have allowed you to enjoy this 7.62% profit candle right here. Taking the regular divergence would have only allowed you to enjoy this area of profit right here. Let's see here. Minx cross back up, time transformation cross back up, profit taking signal right here. Price moves back up to resistance. We get a cross under. That's not a great signal. You would not have extracted much profit here. Price only moved down. You would have gotten in right here. Price only moved down a little bit before bouncing back up. So this is probably a losing trade. All right, so 2 losing shorts, and then price marches back up to resistance. Nothing. It's unlikely that it's unlikely that you would have taken longs in this area, especially as price breaks above resistance and we're oversold, which is exactly what it does. It breaks down, crossing back below the baseline, and we actually have time transformation crossing below zero there as well. So potential primary short signal right there, allowing you to capture all of this. And then profit taking signal right here on the time transformation buy signal. So right now, the strategy in principle, trend following, would suggest that you only look for shorts. So understand that this anticipating this movement from here to here is not really within the strategy. It's a reversal type strategy. We do have the hammer doji there, so it is kind of nice. We are recovering from oversold conditions on time transformation, almost on parallax, and we're pretty close to oversold on Minx, I'm not going to lie. So I can see the case here. I can see the case here for the speculative long back up to resistance, especially after this breakdown, whether you're actually looking for higher highs, like you're actually looking for 52.59, or whether you're just looking for a retest of previous resistance now that we have rejected and broken down. Hey, thank you, myself. Hero of courage indeed. So, but anyways, the strategy, the principle here we're talking about would suggest only looking for shorts. So this is really a no trade zone here for the trend following traders. What we'd be looking for is actually what we'd like to see, I guess, for the trend following is that this movement fails. And then we just get another down candle here, in which case time transformation with the Fisher line would cross underneath the signal line, and that could be considered a continuation signal. Or if we get a little bit more upside here, Minx could cross into the static line and then cross back down underneath. That would be another sell side signal. But just keep in mind, Parallax and Minx are suggesting this is a bearish area of the market. And if you're using those as your confirmers and then using time transformation as your initiator with line crosses, then you're just waiting again for that Fisher underneath the signal line cross. Your other setup here would be if price does move back up here to the 200 EMA to look for rejection and then to look for that that cross under there, which would be a little bit of a reversal in the direction of the trend, reversal baseline bounce, whatever you want to call it, but we're trying to get in an optimum price and trade in the direction of the trend. Right now, the trend, unfortunately, is chop with a little pico trend of downside. So let's not get too excited about this maneuver right here. Again, hammer doji could move up from here, could move down. The strategy, again, would suggest keep it simple, only look for shorts. So we could either look for shorts on a continued breakdown of this consolidation area, this bear flag that we're forming, or if price does move up, wait to see if we get rejection from this area and then take the short there. Okay. All right, so that's Bitcoin in a nutshell, guys. Now let's go take a look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum does obey and respect these very nice key levels. Again, on the weekly time frame, Ethereum crossing and trading underneath the 200 exponential moving average again on the weekly time frame. Let's actually pull up our EMAs here first and get an idea. So very similar to Bitcoin, as we can see. Ethereum corrected down to the 100 period exponential moving average, consolidated there for a little bit, attempting to break up now and maybe hold the 55 weekly exponential moving average as support, which was previous resistance right here. We haven't yet got like this big death cross. Like we don't yet have our fastest moving averages trading underneath the 55 or the 100, which would be quite bearish indeed. So I don't know, overall structure looks relatively neutral on Ethereum. As you can see, we are forming higher lows previous to this level over here. We did just form a lower high, but this could be totally fine. Again, It is possible that 52.59 price target for Bitcoin on Ethereum, again, would look something just like this. Bitcoin came up, made a slightly higher high, is pulling back. If we form this higher low, then we can expect higher prices. But looking at our baseline right here, this is going to make this very simple for us, right? Guys, I mean, this is the beauty of a baseline on any time frame. Okay, price above the baseline, we trade long. Price below the baseline, we trade short. It's that simple, right? That's the beauty of the baseline. That's what it does. It just removes the guesswork. Okay. Jefferson Airplane, he says, a good top structure to test the uptrend. That is lower. Blue box territory asking, how are the lower time frames looking? Maybe the 6 hour or less. We'll get into that in just a second, my brother. Let's see here. Yeah, but again, I just have to point out the same thing here, okay? This is the Bybit chart, okay? But I like it's fine. We'll use the Bybit chart here. But I want to point out that volume, we know volume comes in at tops and bottoms in the market, guys, and I'm not seeing the volume, okay? I'm not seeing the volume. There's been a lot of hullabaloo lately about this concept of this outflow of cryptocurrencies, of money from exchanges, okay? As if this is bullish, okay? So the idea is that, hey, if you're pulling your cryptocurrency off of exchanges, because we've seen massive outflows, massive exchange outflows over the last few months, okay? I think record-setting outflows, all right? That's not bullish, okay? The narrative is, the case that they'll make, right? The case that they'll make is, well, if you're pulling your money off cryptocurrency exchanges, you can't sell, okay? So obviously they're pulling their funds off to hodl, which means price is going to go up. Now, that is an example of a logical fallacy, okay? Just because people are pulling their cryptocurrencies off exchanges, okay, that also means that they can't use those cryptocurrencies to exchange, trade, and buy, right? So if money is leaving exchanges, okay, without fail, bull runs are precipitated and preceded by new inflows of money to exchanges, okay? Because that means more capital is coming in. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Money coming into exchanges is bullish, okay? All right? Because that means that currency can be traded and swapped for something else, and then price can go up. Money leaving exchanges is bearish, okay? There is not going to be another bull run until we see exchange inflows increase, okay? Now, it is entirely possible. We do have a lower time frame long on Ethereum right now, so I just want to point that out. Super duper duper strategy is calling for a lower time frame long on Ethereum. It is entirely possible, which I am in on KuCoin. I do have that hooked up and automated to KuCoin right now. So it is entirely possible that, actually, I want to say it's less likely. Okay, I was going to say that it's possible now with all of the decentralized exchanges and the interest in DeFi and just decentralized application trading, decentralized exchange trading, that maybe we'll just see a different paradigm moving forward. I just think we're a little too early for that, right? The exchanges are still extremely important. The exchanges are still almost completely critical and in control of controlling price. And yeah, just, I mean, the exchange volume of centralized exchanges just dwarfs as a massive behemoth the exchange volume of decentralized exchanges. So I just don't see that paradigm shift just yet. I see it in the future, of course. I do see centralized exchanges becoming a thing of the past eventually. But yeah. So, okay. So anyways, weekly time frame here is suggesting, I want to hesitate to say it's suggesting continuation. We are seeing potentially the same thing that I just pointed out in Bitcoin, as we can see here at Minx crossing underneath the zero line for Ethereum on this candle right here. And not a lot of continuation of the downside. Price was below the weekly 200 SM EMA here. We don't use the weekly really here. We use the daily, but I digress. But yeah, just remained in this bearish posture for quite a while. We did get the cross up right here, and so overall, just not a lot of these big weekly trending movements on the weekly time frame. Just a lot of consolidation from Ethereum. So the daily time frame here allows you to take advantage of these movements, like 24% in a week, and so on. This is obviously the biggest one, but the weekly really not giving us a whole lot of oomph here. So let's see here. Time transformation has crossed under on the weekly time frame. Minx is threatening to cross under right here. Parallax has been in negative territory since back over here on December 2021. So yeah, we are definitely not trending to the upside. That I can tell you that much. All right. I don't think the weekly is necessarily suggesting any trade. Very similar to how the Bitcoin chart does seem a little bit more constructive and informative here. So let's go to the daily to give us a little bit of help here. Okay, daily here, very similar to Bitcoin. However, again, period of consolidation, breakup, attempt to hold, failure, and loss of this, what could have been support and a push up was lost, right? So again, back into the trading range we go. Again, we are forming this hammer doji on the daily. So there is the narrative here. There is the potential case for this push up and either rejection from resistance again, or break above. And that means on the daily time frame, we're going to be in trading to the long side. It's very simple. Daily time frame, we're below the 200 exponential moving average here, which we're going to be using as our baseline for the next month and a half. So the strategy and the principle suggests that we trade to the short side. Okay, now I don't see, let's actually check here. Daily time frame. So I don't have any entries on Ethereum in this area of the market right here. Okay. So we cross underneath here. Minx crosses underneath right here, giving a beautiful entry signal. Time transformation obviously crossed back over here, but we were above the 200 EMA, so we would not be able to enter into the short side. Parallax has of course been bearish here since the 7th of April 2022, foretelling the short trade here beautifully. We're gonna wait to see how this doji plays out right here, because I don't have, again, any clean signals, not having a position in this area. Now switching my baseline. So if my trade ideas right here are as if price does push up to the 200 exponential moving average, I'll be looking for failure, and then I'll be looking to take that short, whether you want to consider it a reversal baseline bounce, or whether you want to consider it a, or if we get that time transformation or Minx cross under. But that will be confirmed. The reason why that trade will be okay is because we will be trading underneath the 200 EMA. So we'll be trading underneath the baseline. Parallax will be negative. Okay, confirming the trade right here. And then we're just looking for a cross from one of our momentum oscillators right here. We know that time transformation crosses come earlier, and we know that Minx crosses come later, but they're more solid. They're more reliable. Okay. So that would be my idea here for Ethereum. So of course that is going to be almost identical here for Bitcoin. As you can see, we've got a little bit more room to go for Bitcoin to get back up to the baseline. But the trade idea, in my opinion, is the same. All right. Either we're looking for failure from this bear flag consolidation area and continued downside, in which case I'm going to be looking for a continuation short. For Bitcoin, we can see the oscillators are a little bit different here. We can see that the Fisher line is above the signal line here. So I can actually look for this nice clean signal right here when the Fisher crosses underneath the Fisher for a continuation short, which is what I'll be looking for. And we're just not going to get that clean signal here on Minx unless we move up, cross up, and then cross back under, because we have not crossed back up above the level there. So keep forgetting to use my system drawing tools instead of these. I really don't like the trading view drawing tool, but I have to go through and delete them unless I want to right click and click remove all drawings, or I want to go to the drawing tree, God forbid. Okay. Okay. Let's take a moment. Let's look through here. Let's go Hero of Courage. Has the lower time frames. We gotta look at the lower time frames. Is this a bear trap? I don't know. It's a bear trap if we, well, so what's happening today could be. What's happening today could be. So let's zoom into the lower time frames here next after I answer the rest of these questions. Chris Hinshaw says, are new projects in different ecosystems still in play, or is it still best to wait till we have a more bullish outlook? So again, I think it's totally fine and acceptable, right? I am doing a lot of research into the Cosmos ecosystem, right? And I am, listen, I'm not all in stable coins with my portfolio, okay? Like I'm holding Cosmos, Adam. I'm holding Osmo. I'm holding Juno, okay? Those are on the ecosystem, on the Cosmos ecosystem, right? I'm staking them, okay? I just don't have as much as I would normally have if we were in a bull market, okay? So while I'm not selling everything, right, my portfolio has reached the level where I don't have to sell everything and freak out, okay? I can sit through a 50%, 80% correction with the allocations that I currently have and kind of be okay, right? I won't be happy, but I'll be okay, okay? Because I have faith in the things that I've invested in. I understand that price will go down. It can go down quite a bit, but we'll move back up. But I got a heavy allocation in stable coins right now, okay? Like 45% of my portfolio in stable coins, okay? You know, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I've got my again, got my chart over here. Atom, my Stargate, my Lensflare DAO, my Crow, my Polkadot, my Cardano, my allocation toward Pulse Chain. You know, I'm looking forward to the 2 airdrops that are coming out this year that I'm really hyped about. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But no, it's absolutely fine to be researching new ecosystems, to be looking. So here's some free alpha for you, right? Find an ecosystem that you are like, okay? It doesn't matter if it's Ethereum, although if you're trading with a lower account, Ethereum's safer, but it's incredibly expensive. Phantom Opera was my play toward the end of 2021 and early 2022. But I'm kind of waiting for the dust to settle. I've rotated funds. I've rotated funds out of the Phantom ecosystem currently. Although that's not to say that the Phantom ecosystem isn't great. It's just that after Andre Crony left, you know, it overperformed a lot last year. Money rotates in this market, so I just, you know, I'm just, yeah. So right now, I'm really looking at the Cosmos ecosystem, and I think after this, I'm going to research the Kronos ecosystem. That's CRO. It's crypto.com. So go to DeFi Llama, okay, or go to whatever. DeFi Llama's my suggestion, and look at total value locked on these chains. Find an ecosystem chain that has a rising total value locked, right? You want to see an ecosystem or a chain that has total value locked rising, okay? You want to see more money coming into that ecosystem, okay? And then go onto that ecosystem and look at its dApps, okay? And you can start to make your allocations based on that. If you want to be conservative, throw some money into the top dApps. If you want to be risky, research some of the smaller dApps, okay? And see if their TVL is increasing, or if they've got maybe some catalysts that are coming up in the next year or so that you think could be good. And those might be some good plays. But definitely, you know, you want to, when you're looking at these kind of lower cap plays that aren't like trading, like what I'm doing on the chart with the technical analysis and the indicators, this is different. This is what we do on large caps. This is what we do on our blue chips, right? Because this is the backbone of how we make money, right? The blue chips aren't going anywhere. They're safe and stable. They're not dipping 80% in a day unless you're trading on Kraken or Binance US. And so they're volatile. There's a lot of money sloshing around, and with a good indicator strategy or just a good trading strategy where you're looking at I want people to understand this, right? You need to understand this. I recommend 2% risk per trade, okay? And to some people, that's fucking crazy, right? They're like, that's not enough. I'm not gonna get rich doing that. Okay, that's fine. Maybe not. But what you will do is let's say you take your time, you do, like, you know, like I have a course, obviously, right? Like, but there's other ways to learn how to trade, okay? But let's say you take my course, somebody else's course, you just sit down and develop a strategy. And you come up with a 65% winning rate strategy, right? Which is very doable, right? I help people do it every month. 65% win rate strategy, okay? Now, let's just say you have a 50% win rate strategy. You're flipping a coin, but you know, whatever. You've got a 50% win rate strategy, okay? So if you take 10 winning trades a month, okay, at 2% risk with a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, that means you're going to make 20% ROI on your capital, your entire capital stack if you're position sizing properly at the end of the month. That's 20% returns per month, every month, okay? If you're consistent and you just continue to trade like that, okay? 10 trades. Now, with a 50% win rate, you're going to have to take 20 trades. You're going to have to lose half to win half, okay? That's 20% per month, okay? So even if you don't compound that, it compounds, all right? That's 240% APY per year, all right? That is good fucking money, okay? And you can do one of several things. One, grow your trading account for the next 3 to 5 years. Be patient and understand that you're going to make it after five years. Or you can be aggressive, right? And you can continue to trade with a small capital account, which I don't necessarily recommend. And you can take all those profits and you can put them into your high conviction plays, okay? That are going to sit for the next 3 to 5 years for the next bull market, okay? And then you're going to play that strategy, okay? It's going to be these DeFi plays that I'm going to hold for 2 years. They're going to make me rich. It's however you want to do it. It's your account, it's your money, it's your life. So yeah, in short, I think it's totally fine to be researching other ecosystems and other kind of high conviction plays, low cap plays. That's totally fine. It's even totally fine to be making allocations right now. Just understand that if Bitcoin drops 50%, your allocations are going to probably dip 80%. Okay. And so it's very important. It's very important that you not be all in. Okay. You cannot be all in on shitcoins right now. No, it doesn't make sense. Okay. I don't care. It just absolutely doesn't make sense. The market is too risky right now. If the market dips, you're going to get smoked, and it's unlikely that you'll come back from that. It's unlikely that you'll come back from that. So, yeah, research, make those allocations, and then, right, like starter positions, right? So let's say your ideal portfolio allocation, by the way, I think this is a great portfolio allocation. It's 15% stablecoins, 15% Bitcoin, 15% Ethereum. So we have 45%. Let's say 30% spread out between various layer one plays, Avalanche, Phantom, Arbitrum, Metis. There's a lot of Chronos. There's a lot of buzz about Chronos and Metis right now. So Metis might be after Chronos for me. Cosmos, Matic, Polygon, right? A lot happening there. So that's what's hot. That's the narrative right now, in my opinion. Layer ones. Okay. So now we're at 75%. Let's say, and then you've got 25% left of your portfolio. Okay. So that other 25%, I would do, 15% stablecoins, 15% Bitcoin, 30, 15% Ethereum is 45, 30% layer ones. All right. 75%. And then you've got 25% that you can allocate into high risk plays. Now, what I would actually recommend is that you switch that you take of that 25%, that you take about 15% and increase your stablecoin allocation, especially this area of the market. So you're holding 30% stablecoins. Now you only have 10% to allocate to your high risk plays. Okay. So you've got your blue chips, you got your Bitcoin and your Ethereum, you got stablecoins to buy the dip. Okay. You've got your medium cap plays, or just to see who's going to win, because some of them are going to win big, right? Your Matic, your Chronos, your Cosmos, your Arbitrum, your Metis, all Avalanche, all the layer one, Phantom, maybe all the layer one possibilities out there. And then you've got 10% left now that you can allocate. Right now, if that 10% gets smoked, your entire portfolio still looks okay, because you're holding stable coins, which is going to keep your value up. You're holding blue chips, which aren't going to drop as much. You're holding mid caps, which are going to drop a lot, but not as much as your low caps. And then when we drop, if we drop, or if the market starts to look really bullish from here, that's fine. You take your stable coin allocation, you rotate it back into your plays. You start beefing up your portfolio to where you want it, right? Maybe you only want 10% Bitcoin and you want, for some reason, 20% Atom. Okay, that's totally fine. Use your stable coins and allocate appropriately. Yeah. Okay, K7 Jixer 1000 asks, am I saying that retail moves the market? In cryptocurrency, retail can absolutely move the market, right? Like, I'm not sure I want to get into a protracted nobody knows who fucking moves the market, dude. Smart money, dumb money, blah, blah, blah. I just, I've seen whales, I've seen smart whales, I've seen dumb whales, I've seen $1 million buddies of mine hit the buy button and cause a wick and get giga wrecked. Yeah. It is what it is. What I am saying is that centralized exchanges certainly dictate the price of large cap altcoins and blue chips. I mean, absolutely. Decent. I mean, just go. I mean, literally, like we can just do it, right? We can just go to CoinGecko. And let's just fucking look at Bitcoin. Fuck it. Let's look at Ethereum. Markets. Okay. Percent of volume. All right. I mean, the majority of Ethereum is traded on Binance, right? Binance, Bitrue, Crypto.com, HitBTC, FMFW, Changely, Bitmart, Currency.com, Huobi, XT. I haven't seen a decentralized exchange yet. Coinbase, Binance, Bit4x, Digifinex, right? Just, you know. Let's just scroll down here. Yeah. So, and the same is going to be true of, let's go look at, let's get a, I would like to get a Chainlink. This is good. Chainlink, ERC20 token. Markets. All right. Percent of volume. I do not see any decentralized exchanges up here. Okay. Do not see any decentralized exchanges. These are all centralized exchanges. Centralized exchanges are where the majority of volume happens. That. Did the stream die? Holy shit. What makes sense? All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on here. All right, well. Unfortunately, kind of looks like I got disconnected from YouTube. Oh, that's super weird. It looks like I'm streaming. It looks like I have internet. Looks like, yeah, Crypto Bubbles is loading. Okay, interesting. All right, so you guys can see the stream and I just can't? I mean, no, like just YouTube. It's just YouTube. It seems like I got disconnected from the chatters. All right, cool. We'll just keep going. All right, it's 12:20. I'm gonna take like a 30-second break. Apologies for just in advance, but I'm gonna run an ad. So 30-second break, maybe 60-second break, and I will be right back. All right, guys. Can't catch a break over on BitMEX with all the wicks? Try a better alternative at buybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com and rest easy for a change. All right. And we're back. Thank you guys for allowing me to take that brief break. Get the music back on. And now let's, now I kind of just want to look for trade. Okay, so first things first, we're going to look at the lower time frames here on Bitcoin. So let's start off with a 6 hour. Okay. All right. So this is kind of cool to see. All right, look here. All right. So dive down. Volume comes into the market right here. Okay. I like this. Volume comes into the market. We make a lower low. Nice volume spike. And this is good to see. This is a big bullish engulfing candle. All right. With a nice volume spike. And Bitcoin is pushing higher here now continually on this current 6 hour candle. So I'm not going to be one to like call for like, oh my God, we're going to hit resistance, right? Like I like to say if the market's moving up, then it's likely to continue moving up. We do have to keep in mind, all right, that this is the daily baseline. Okay. So I always look at the daily baseline on the lower time frames because one way to trade too is to use lower time frames to get more entries. It's totally fine. You don't have to trade on the daily. What's going on, gravy, grits, and green? Lots to talk about. Indeed. So this is a little bit more advanced, but if you guys are making money on the daily time frame and you want to commit to more serious trading, you want to trade more actively, then you can start using daily structures and entries on meso or even lower time frames. It's totally fine. I do it from time to time. Daily is my bread and butter, but again, I do trade full time. So yeah. Minx is oversold here on the 6 hour time frame. We are crossing back up. Okay. We've got Wadatar Explosion. We can see Parallax got oversold here too. Time Transformation wasn't oversold, but I always deign to Parallax and Minx on oversold, overbought thresholds because they're less sensitive than Time Transformation. So that means their signals have a little bit more oomph. Now, obviously, if you're longing this, what you're going to hate to see is just this continue on as chop, up, rejection, down, up, rejection. But I don't see any reason why this couldn't continue on for a little bit longer. We'll see, or we'll see if we reject from this level of resistance. But so far, the only buy signal that I'm really seeing here is maybe you take this reversal buy signal from Minx, or you buy this recovery from oversold on Parallax. To a fine trade, but you're not trading in the direction of the trend, so that's not great. There is volume, so that's good. Okay, so you've got the volume on the volume spike down. You've got the volume on the bullish engulfing on the way back up. Those are all good to see. So yeah, I could see a long here. I could see a long up here. Again, maybe this is your entry for that long back up to the daily baseline where you're actually looking for the direction, the trade in the direction of the trend. Or maybe you get lucky and this is actually kind of the Pico bottom and we actually do continue up from here. So that's interesting. Recovery from oversold with a bit of volume here. Could have some legs, all right? 4-hour time frame, again, looks pretty decent as well. Again, we've got the 4-hour recovering from oversold as well, both on Parallax and Minx. Minx just now getting out. Nice volume spike here. Bullish engulfing candle. Looks like we might even be closing above resistance here. Let's go down to the 45-minute time frame. 45-minute time frame is actually going to give you a trending long signal right here. Of course, we are below the daily baseline, so we're not trading in the direction of the dominant trend here. But we've got Minx crossing the 0 line. We've got Parallax crossing the 0 line. So again, I saw this when the first chart I looked at today was Avalanche for some reason on the 15-minute time frame. All right. And I just saw this, right? None of this hadn't happened yet, but I saw price double bottom, right? And I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw this volume coming out. I was like, I think the market might actually be moving up today. So far it is. We've had a little bit of downside. And now it does seem intraday. The market is, of course, moving up. Getting back to Bitcoin here. Okay. And again, nice spike here on the 15-minute time frame, on natural volume here on the 15-minute. 15 minutes suggesting that price is a little overbought. That's okay. I don't really want to be caring what happens on the 15-minute. You take a position on a meso time frame and you roll with it. Mr. Ether, good to see you, my brother. So weekly looks bad, daily looks bad, but the meso timeframes are suggesting this push might have some legs. And the reason I say that is because the volume here, the volume on the down spike and the volume on the uptick, okay? So down spike, now we're trading above that previous level. So again, legs here could be possible. Take a look at crypto bubbles and see overall what's going on in the market. Again, relatively down day in the markets. We do have some things reversing here. GMT, XMR, Decred, Luna, Zcash, Audio. I don't even know what that is. Loopring, Blockstacks. Looking pretty good. XCN up 2.3%. Big movers of the day are going to be GMT, Decred, and Luna. Okay, Steppen's been hot lately. I did get a request for Steppen, so let's go look at GMT. All right, GMT USDT. Let's go take a look at the daily. GMT is pretty interesting here. So GMT obviously has been on a beautiful run. A lot of buzz about GMT, a lot of buzz about Steppen. It's performing real well. As we can see here for the last couple of weeks, it really has just kind of consolidated here. And now we've got some rising volume, all right, as we're attempting to push up. Now, in the absence of making a double top, I think the hype could be real here. I think GMT could actually perform well here. So we've got, again, this is pretty cool to see. Falling volume in the consolidation, rising volume as price is moving up, and then this nice, beautiful, bullish engulfing candle here on the daily, looking to try to come up and maybe make a higher high. So this is actually pretty cool to see. What do our indicators say here on the daily? Parallax switching into a bullish stance on the daily. Minx in a bullish stance on the daily. Time transformation in a bullish stance on the daily. GM cheese does look fried here, doesn't it, Joe? This is starting to look good, man. Yeah. Now, of course, you don't want to buy the top. This would suck. I would say that if we reject here and you get a down candle, I would exit the position. But GMT actually looks kind of interesting here. Can we? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, cool. GMT is on Bybit. So for those of you who are following along, trade on a trade of exchange, you can trade this perpetual on Bybit. Yusuf Polot got wrecked today. All right. On Bybit. He says, can you please look at GMT? It did a 20% today. Is a reversal probable, do I think? I mean, yes. So obviously, listen, anytime you've reached a market high, you consolidate for a little bit and then push back up. There are two setups that we can watch for. One is obviously just the double top. Okay, price comes back up to resistance, is unable to make it. The other one that I like is called a swing failure pattern. So if Steppen stops right now and moves down, I would consider that what I call a swing failure pattern, an SFP, where the market makes a high, attempts to make another high, fails and moves down, and then the classical way to trade an SFP is to look at the support that was formed on the pullback, and then when price trades below that, you take the short. Right? That's the classical way to do it. I kind of like to be a little bit more aggressive, just chart pattern style. So if I were to see a rejection here, I would likely short GMT. The only reason I'm a little hesitant on that is that you have to understand the hype train, and you do have to understand like what's going on in crypto, and there's a lot of hype around GMT right now. So a nice bullish engulfing candle like this, breaking and pushing above resistance, could absolutely be good. Now, if you're short in this area, listen, I don't want to tell you exactly how to manage your position, right? When you entered, you should have a stop loss. You should use appropriate amount of risk per trade. But yeah, the market's moved against you here, and I do see rising volume. Rising volume is not really fantastic to see if you want to take this to the downside. If you're short here and you want to hold your position, it's kind of a scary spot because you have to wait for a double top. And if price puts in another green candle here, I mean, you're starting to look in a really bad spot, and you almost have to exit just on principle. Otherwise, you're at that point, you're just holding on kind of bitter, right? And you're like, oh, well, now it'll reverse. It'll get up here and it'll reverse. And like, maybe it will, but you're trading like shit, I'm not specifically, calling you out, my friend. I'm just saying that anyone who does that is, whether they know it or not, trading like shit. And, I actually kind of like the way Steppen looks here on the daily. Let's get a little granular. 6 hour time frame here. Again, just big volume spike here, man. Now a rejection here a rejection here, swing failure pattern, volume spike up, just grabbing liquidity, stopping people out, maybe. Price moves down, but this is the spot market, man. This is the spot market. Long period of consolidation, a lot of hype around Steppen. I feel as if Steppen is looking far more like a long here than a short. Yeah, Joe said it perfectly. You're either going to have a breakout trade here, or this is a swing failure pattern. And if you're already positioned here, it's kind of shitty because you have to, especially to the short side, if you're positioned here for the short side, now you have to wait for the swing failure pattern, which I mean, so far, so like it looks like a current 6 hour candle. We got this doji forming. Okay, let's go down to lower time frames. Are we seeing rejection here? The baseline off. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, listen. Okay, maybe this is a different zone. We come down to the 15-minute time frame and we can see, okay, lower high, a lot of volume coming in here. So okay, maybe you'll be okay. But volume spike above here, that would not be great. Yeah, Joe's got it perfectly here. Higher high, a close on a daily would make this thing look like a long. So yeah, on the daily time frame, I'd say if we get all I could recommend is a higher close here would to me be a breakout long. But I don't see any other way you could trade that. course, my friend. So I'm actually going to be putting this one on my daily watch list right here. GMT. Luna. Big movement off of Luna here. We've been trending down for about 2 weeks. Big bullish engulfing candle. Nice volume spike right here. Also reaction off previous level of support, which is also nice to see. Let's get our baseline in here. This is very nice. So Luna is above the 200 exponential moving average on the daily time frame. Just came back down here basically to the baseline. Beautiful bullish engulfing candle. Time transformation and oversold territory. This looks like a potential reversal long entry to me for Luna. Right, not a confirmed like trend initiation right here. We do need minks to cross above the zero line, or even time transformation to cross above the zero line. Parallax is also in negative territory, but definitely a potential reversal baseline bounce and reversal long entry in the direction of the dominant trend. Dominant trend being to the long side here on Luna. So I actually think Luna is going to be a good long. Yeah, I like it. What's the other big mover of the day? Decred. Decred doing something? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, what do we got here on Decred? Another scam wick. Yay. Decred lives to be pumped. Look at this. Just look at this, dude. Decred fucking lives to be pumped up to the 200 EMA and whacked back down from it, dude. Choop, whack, 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 whoop, whack. All right, so this is not good. Not good. Fuck Decred. This is not good. Now, wouldn't it be funny if this is actually like accumulation, like a big whale just like buying, and he just can't control himself. He's just buying so much he just can't fucking, you know, he just like will not reduce his position size. He just has to buy like like, what is this? How big are these orders? $357,000 coins at like $73 a pop. What is this? Okay. 357,000 times 73. $26 million buy. $26 million buy. What is this? 195,000. So like what? Like a $20 million buy. 143,000. So a little bit less. 456,000. Jesus. At a higher price. What is this? Oh, 63. Okay, so a little lower. $28 million. So listen, there's two ways to look at this. Like, one way to look at this is that like anytime price pumps up right here, it's a fantastic short entry, right? But the other way you could look at this, right? And you typically only see this with like lower coins, but you know, Decred's pretty large. It's a large cap coin, but it is accumulation, like market buys, and the period overall in a period of sideways. This is like Wyckoff. This is like Wyckoff in action. So like looking for a big breakout, and that confirmation would come if we can trade above $76.50. So I would be bearish on Decred. But if we're able to pump up here another 20%, like is it, you really think? I don't know. God, those are big buys on Decred. Interesting. So maybe Decred's really something to watch here, guys. Did we see any kind of behavior like that previously? No, not really. We didn't see any of these big accumulation pumps. Here we see some big accumulation pumps right here. Again, the market was already trending to the upside. So again, the principle says that when you do see increased volume come into the market, it is a sign of a trend shift. And we do seem to be seeing this play out in Decred. Seems like they've launched staking fixed at 9%. Yeah, their meme games. Oh, that's nothing, bro. Oh, absolutely. But listen, you guys got to understand, Twitter is the absolute best source of information for cryptocurrency, dude. It really is. Like, that might sound crazy, but Twitter. But yeah, it really is. I use a variety of strategies. I need to make some videos on that, actually. Okay, so listen, I want to make two cases here. One case is that you got this whale who is massive market buying. And then, obviously strategy is massive market buys on the spot exchange to hit liquidations and fill shorts on the... you're welcome, Mac. Appreciate that, man. To hit liquidations on the perpetual exchanges, right? So for those, this is how it works. You go into the perpetuals market, you're a whale. You set big shorts up here, right? Where people have liquidation levels, okay? Then you go on to the spot exchange and you market buy that shit up while your shorts get filled, okay? And you're just looking for that arbitrage, that spread in difference, right, on the profit of your shorts and the loss on your market buy longs. So that's potentially a strategy. Decred is kind of fallen from its place. You know, it used to be big, huge. Now it's a little bit smaller. So maybe Decred has fallen the way of the scam pump. The other potential here is that we're seeing accumulation, right? This is what I've made videos about this. This is what accumulation kind of looks like on a longer scale here. So I don't know, definitely something to watch. So for us, break above the 200 daily exponential moving average, or about $75.60. Start looking for trending trades here. Interesting to note, though, that Decred looks extremely different from any other chart we've looked at today. So on the watch list we go. Okay, with that being said, I want to talk about, let's go to the big camera. All right, I want to talk about the two big airdrops that I am looking forward to this year, all right, that I am attempting to position myself for, okay? Now, these are both Ethereum-ish based airdrops, okay? One for sure, and the other one is going to be on an Ethereum layer 2. And those airdrops are... MetaMask, all right? Those of you guys who have been living under a cave, living in a cave underneath a rock, inside a larger cave. MetaMask is the most popular browser-based hot wallet that you could possibly utilize. I've been using MetaMask for years now. You can utilize MetaMask as a browser extension. You can use it in Google Chrome. You can obviously use it in Brave, since Brave is built off of Google Chrome. They've got a good mobile app. You can hold your NFTs there. You can utilize it on any EVM compatible chain. So you can use it with Phantom Opera. You can use it with Harmony. You can use it with Matic. You can use it with Avalanche. You can use it with Metis. You can use it with Arbitrum. You can use it with Optimism. Just by going in. So anyways, MetaMask, massive browser extension, fantastic development team. And they announced that they will be launching a token, and it's going to occur in 2022. So MetaMask going to be a huge airdrop. So for you guys who like, this is one of those big airdrops, right? Potentially like 5 or 6 figure airdrop. Now, ENS, Ethereum Name Service, they did an airdrop last year. Okay. And that airdrop was worth 5 figures at its peak. Okay. So this is a huge opportunity that's coming up this year. Now, it is unclear, and the results haven't been released. The information has not been disseminated as to how you can qualify to get this airdrop. I think it's unlikely. I do think it's unlikely that simply having a MetaMask wallet is going to qualify you for the airdrops. I seriously doubt that. I think that much more likely, MetaMask is going, I would say at the very least, okay, MetaMask has added a swap feature inside of MetaMask. So I would postulate that using the swap feature or just other features, like the swap feature being the biggest one, right? But at the very least, having a MetaMask address with some cryptocurrency in it is certainly probably the best place to start. Okay. Now, if you're utilizing a ledger or a hardware device, you can connect your hardware device to MetaMask so that you can get all the functionality of interacting with this decentralized applications with MetaMask's interface, while simultaneously having the security of your hardware wallet, so your private keys and seed are not at risk. So that's totally fine. Personally, I will let you guys know what I do. I do have MetaMask hooked up to my ledger. Okay. However, and it's gotten better, but it's easy to create another account in MetaMask. So I have a hot wallet. I have a hot MetaMask. Okay. And I have a cold wallet. My cold wallet is linked to my ledger account, and my hot wallet, I just transfer funds. And the hot wallet is what I actually use to interact with decentralized applications and decentralized exchanges. It's just faster, it's easier. I don't have to go run and pull my nano, out of nowhere. So yeah, of course, if you're using MetaMask as a hot wallet, you guys just need to be aware of all the security implications of using a hot wallet. So hot wallets are for trading and short-term things. They are not for investments. You do not want to hold your portfolio in a hot wallet. So go out there, get a Ledger Nano X, and store your funds securely. That's what I do. Furthermore than that, go get a, shoot, I forgot the name of it now. I literally made a video about them. Crypto tag. Go get a crypto tag and engrave your private keys or your seed phrase onto titanium, then bury that in your backyard. I think that's probably the safest place, the safest way to handle it. But above and beyond all that, it is indisputable that this MetaMask airdrop is going to be huge. Okay. It is the most, I have never seen an airdrop more anticipated than the MetaMask airdrop. Okay. So to qualify for the MetaMask airdrop, you certainly are going to have funds on the Ethereum blockchain. Okay. Not in a centralized exchange. If you have funds in an exchange, you will not get the airdrop. The exchange will get the airdrop, not your keys, not your coins. You have to have custody of your assets. So the MetaMask airdrop, super huge. And the other airdrop is going to be Metis. All right. Metis is it's a scaling solution for Ethereum. And again, a lot of hype about this. I have a lot more research to do about Metis myself. I've just been hearing this a lot lately. Metis is a big L2. So the fact they're going to be doing an airdrop is going to be relatively large as well. So I would say this is currently for sure the second most anticipated airdrop of the year. MetaMask, definitely the first. Metis, definitely the second. And then honestly, for me, I am anticipating the Pulse chain sacrifice. I call it an airdrop. It's Snapshot myself, but that's a little different, right? So, yeah. So I will do some more research on the Metis airdrop. And I will I will of course be very aware of any news and information surrounding the MetaMask airdrop. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, which I hope you do and highly recommend that you do, I am starting to curate Twitter lists, which are extremely helpful if you want to stay up to date on what's going on in cryptocurrency, right? Whether it be trade ideas, ecosystem information, potential airdrops, just opportunities. Okay. Now, one of the best ways to do this is to use Twitter. A better way to do it is to use Twitter lists. And then an even better way to do it is to use TweetDeck. All right. So TweetDeck is a free just website, tweetdeck.com. You connect your Twitter to it, and it allows you to organize all your Twitter lists, feeds, searches, anything that you want into a hub. Okay. It's absolutely essential, I think, for staying up to date on cryptocurrency. I couldn't do it without it. Right. And having lists and having all my information and content creators organized helps me out a lot as well. So, I am curating Twitter lists right now. I just created a new list this morning called Upcoming Airdrops, and MetaMask Official and Metis Official is on there. So if you want to front run me and do some research, just make a post on Twitter at me and tag any information that you guys have, so that maybe I can share that with the community as well. I also have, so currently, and then I've got some DeFi education. So I'll be adding more and more and curating those lists as we move on. So those are the things I'm excited about moving forward. Metis airdrop, MetaMask airdrop. And just a quick summary of what we talked about today. It does seem like Decred is a coin to be watching. Luna does look like a good long. GMT looks very exciting here as it continues to move up. Bitcoin and Ethereum do show some promise for some continued upside, and we might actually have a few days here of green. But however, the higher time frames have not confirmed that yet. The higher time frames are in fact suggesting that we will be trading lower. So we just need to wait for some confirmation for us to be taking larger positions. We can take some smaller speculative positions on the lower time frames, but just keep that in the overall context of where we're at in the market. Okay, gravity pulls things down; it doesn't push them up. Okay. With that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Dragon Ball Z. The Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, hot stock tips, and or death threats, feel free to drop them in the Discord in the comment section, preferably not my DMs. My DMs are so full, I literally cannot breathe. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Smash the like button. Lets me know that I'm continuing to create good content. If you're over on Twitch, consider using your Amazon Prime subscription or following at the very least. Always appreciated. DLive as well. DLive Nation, a follower subscription over there is also always highly appreciated. If you're watching on Twitter, then follow me on Twitter and retweet the video link. I highly appreciate that. Same thing over there on Facebook. Whatever you do, join the free Discord at discord.krakencryptocurrency.com. Link is down in the description. Get yourself some free alpha and join the community. And if you're interested in learning to trade like I do, if you're interested in utilizing the premium indicators that I've developed and having access to our educational course, Pathways to Profit, where I do teach everyone to trade exactly the way that I trade, everything that I've learned, the tips and the tricks, you guys can find all the information in the Discord for that as well, to go premium, as well as at our website down in the description. Links for everything you could possibly need. Go get your free $50 by trading on Bybit at bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12 p.m. in the middle of the earth, and 1 p.m. on the Eastern Seaboard for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Cheers, guys. Trade safely. Bye.